Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. When Valerie and I broke up, it wasn't some screaming match or dramatic fight. It was worse. Quiet, cold, like something had already died between us. But even worse was what came after. It all started when I found out she had been lying about where she was on some weekends. I asked her directly, "Where were you last Saturday, Valerie? You told me you were with your sister." Her eyes darted away for a second. "I was. Why are you asking like that?" "Because I called her," I said, trying to keep calm, "and she said she hadn't seen you in weeks." She froze, her eyes wide with panic. "Oh, I meant I was with her friend Donna. I must have gotten confused." That was the first red flag, but I wanted to believe her. We had been together for 5 years, engaged for 2, and were getting ready to be married. The dates had been set, the invitations were already printed, and plans were well underway. You don't throw that away over one slip-up. But then over the next few weeks she got distant, unreachable. And when I pressed her, she blew up. "You're suffocating me, Bradley," she yelled one night. "You're always asking where I am, what I'm doing. Do you think I'm a child?" "No, Valerie. I think you're my fiancé and I just want to know why you're acting like this." Instead of answering, she packed a bag and left. She said she needed space. At first I waited, hoping she would come back. But days turned into weeks, and I didn't hear from her. No texts, no calls, nothing. It was like I didn't exist anymore. And honestly, at that point I wasn't even angry. I was just hurt. I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. So, I did what I had to do. I canceled the wedding. I called the venue, the caterer, the florist, and everyone else involved. Then, I let our families and friends know it was over. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I didn't just feel like I was ending an engagement. I felt like I was ending the future we had built together. But deep down, I knew it was the right decision. One night I was sitting on my couch, flipping through TV channels when I got a call from Valerie's brother, Luke. "Hey, Bradley," he started, his tone awkward. "How have you been?" "Let me guess," I said, leaning back on the couch. "Valerie told you to talk to me, didn't she?" There was a pause on the other end. "Well, yeah, sort of. She's been really upset about everything and she feels like maybe things got out of hand. She wants to fix this." "Fix this?" I repeated, laughing bitterly. "She ghosted me for weeks, Luke. Weeks. She left me sitting here like an idiot wondering what I did wrong. How do you fix that?" "She knows she messed up," he said. "She wants to meet and talk things through." "No, Luke," I said firmly. "If she wanted to talk, she could have picked up her phone instead of using you as a messenger. I'm not interested." Luke sighed. "Come on, Bradley. You two were good together. Don't throw this away." "She already did," I snapped. "And I'm done picking up the pieces." There was a pause on the line, and I could hear Luke carefully choosing his words. He wasn't one for confrontation, but I knew he cared about his sister. Still, I wasn't going to let him guilt-trip me into reopening things with Valerie. "Look, Bradley," Luke said, his voice softer now. "I know you're hurt, but Valerie's been a mess. She doesn't know how to fix it. She wants to try. She had plenty of chances already, Luke. I called and texted her multiple times when she left, but she didn't answer. She ghosted me, lied to me. I'm not some backup plan she can turn to when things aren't going her way." Luke was silent for a moment. "I get it, but please hear her out. You both deserve closure." I snapped, "Closure? I don't need closure, Luke. I need honesty. I need her to stop treating me like nothing. I'm done." I ended the call without waiting for him to respond. I couldn't believe Valerie thought I'd just pick up where we left off. The nerve of it all. And yet that still wasn't the end. No, that would have been too easy. The next day, Valerie's mother called, saying how hard things had been for Valerie and how sorry she was. But I had already done enough. Valerie had pushed me away, lied, and ignored me for weeks. I couldn't trust her again. Her mother insisted Valerie had changed, but I didn't want to be part of her journey. I was done. The phone call ended, and I was left staring at the walls again. This time, I wasn't just hurt. I was angry. Angry at Valerie for dragging me through all this emotional turmoil, angry at her family for trying to guilt me back into a situation that was clearly toxic. The more I thought about it, the more certain I became of my decision. I couldn't go back. I couldn't fix what was broken. It was time to let go completely. A couple of weeks later, just as I was starting to feel like I could move on, I got a letter in the mail. The envelope had Valerie's handwriting on it. I stared at it for a while before opening it, part of me wondering if I should just throw it away. But curiosity got the better of me. Inside, there was a long, handwritten note. It was classic Valerie, overly dramatic and full of emotional pleas. She apologized for ghosting me and said she missed me. But then about halfway through, the tone shifted. She wrote, "I've been thinking about how we can fix this, Bradley. I still have the key to your apartment, and I've been thinking about stopping by so we can talk face to face. I've even looked into a counselor for us. I know we can make this work if we just try." I froze. I'd completely forgotten she even had a key. I'd changed the locks when she left, but just the thought of her assuming she could still waltz into my home made my skin crawl. The next day, I sent her a short reply. "Valerie, I've already moved on, and you need to do the same. Please don't contact me again." I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. A few days later, the last thing I expected was for Valerie's sister Monica to show up unannounced at my apartment. I was in the kitchen making coffee when I heard the knock on my door. I opened it to find her standing there, her expression tight like she was carrying some heavy weight. I felt my frustration rise instantly. Is this her idea? I thought. Valerie probably sent her here thinking I'd just forgive everything and let her back in. "Monica," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "What are you doing here?" "I need to talk to you, Bradley," she said, her voice soft but urgent. "It's important. Can I come in?" I shook my head, already irritated. "No, Monica. I'm done. Tell your sister that." She hesitated for a moment, then added, "She doesn't know I'm here, Bradley. I just came to talk about Valerie, about something you need to know. Maybe then you will understand and forgive her." That stopped me in my tracks. My heart skipped a beat and my mind went on alert. What could she possibly have to say that would change anything? "I don't want to hear anything about Valerie," I said, trying to shut it down. "She's the one who left me. She's the one who disappeared without a word. There's nothing more to talk about." Monica didn't give up. She stepped forward slightly, lowering her voice. "So you don't want to know where she was those weeks she was gone?" I froze. That one sentence hit me like a punch to the stomach. Where was she? I'd spent so much time trying to figure out what had happened, why she had suddenly cut me out. I had my suspicions, but hearing her sister say this made my stomach churn. For a moment I stood there in silence, my mind racing. Do I really want to hear this? Do I even care anymore? But something inside me, a twisted curiosity, made me hesitate. "Come in," I said, my voice colder than I meant. "What happened?" Monica took a deep breath, her face filled with a strange mix of guilt and determination. She was with someone else. She went on a trip with him. Someone she met a few months ago at her gym. She wanted to see where things would go with him, to see if her feelings were real. I felt the floor drop beneath me. My head buzzed with disbelief. She went away with someone else? The rage started to rise, boiling up from deep within me. Monica continued, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. But after a while she realized she only wanted you. It was always you, Bradley. She was confused, but now she knows what she wants. She's asking for your forgiveness and she wants you to take her back. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My heart was hammering in my chest, a mixture of anger and betrayal flooding my veins. She had been with another man, gone on a trip with him, and now she wanted me to forgive her? The idea of it all made me want to explode. I took a step back, my chest tight. So, let me get this straight. She cheats on me, goes on a trip with some other guy, and now she wants me to just take her back? Are you out of your mind, Monica? She winced, but she stood her ground. She's sorry, Bradley. She said she made a mistake. I didn't want to hear it anymore. I was done. The trust was shattered beyond repair, and no amount of apologies would fix that. Please leave, I said, my voice controlled but laced with anger. You can't fix this. It's over. Just go. Monica looked like she wanted to argue, but she saw the look in my eyes and knew it was pointless. Without another word, she turned and walked out. I slammed the door behind her, my hands shaking with rage. I stood there for a long moment, trying to calm my breathing, but the anger didn't subside. It burned hotter, fueled by the realization of just how badly I'd been betrayed. A week later, my phone rang. It was my mom. "Bradley," she said, her voice serious. "I just had Valerie at my door." "What?" I nearly dropped my phone. "She came here crying, saying she just wants to talk to you. She was asking me to convince you to give her another chance." "What did you say?" I asked, my heart pounding. "I told her you're a grown man and you've made your decision," my mom said. "But Bradley, she looked so desperate. Are you sure this is the right thing to do?" "Yes, Mom, it is." I clenched my jaw. "She's crossed too many lines. Showing up at your house? That's not okay." My mom sighed. "I agree, but you might want to think about taking this more seriously. It sounds like she's not letting go." It got worse before it got better. A few days after Valerie showed up at my mom's, I came home to find a note taped to my door. "Bradley, I know you're upset, but please just talk to me. I can't let this end like this. I love you." That was the breaking point. I wasn't just annoyed anymore. I was scared. Her behavior was starting to feel less like love and more like obsession. I called my best friend Jonathan and asked him to meet me. We ended up at our usual bar, grabbed drinks, and I explained everything. Her mother's call, her sister's visit, the way she refused to let me move on. Jonathan listened, nodding in understanding. "Dude, you need to do something," Jonathan said. "She's not going to stop unless you make it clear this isn't okay." "What do you think I should do?" I asked, taking a deep breath. "Honestly, file a restraining order," he said. "It's not what anyone wants to do, but you have to protect yourself." I nodded, the weight of his words sinking in. I hated it, but it seemed like the only way. That night when I got home, I was already drained from everything. But as I stepped out of my car and approached the apartment building, I froze. There she was, Valerie, standing outside, as if she had been waiting for me. She walked toward me, her eyes pleading, and my frustration boiled over. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice colder than I intended. "We need to talk, Bradley," she said, her voice shaking. "I love you, and I can't let you go." I couldn't believe it. "I can't believe you're doing this, Valerie. Putting your whole family to try and change my mind so you can get me to take you back? Really?" She took another step closer, her eyes filling with tears like she was about to reach out to me. I took a step back, my body instinctively moving away. "Bradley, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do. Please, can't you see that I love you? I'll do whatever it takes." I shook my head, my jaw tight. "You disappeared for weeks, Valerie. You cheated on me. I know everything. You even went to my mom's house begging her to talk me into taking you back. You don't get to do that. I've already made my decision." Her eyes widened, desperation flooding her voice. "Please don't do this. I can't live without you." "Then live with the consequences of your actions," I shot back, my anger rising. "You're out of your mind, Valerie. I'll file for a restraining order. This isn't healthy anymore," I said, leaving her standing there as I walked to my apartment. And that's what I did. I hated it, but I knew I couldn't keep living like this. When Valerie got served with the paperwork, I expected another dramatic response, but instead, everything went quiet. No more letters, no more visits, nothing. It took me a while to process everything that had happened. I wasn't just dealing with the end of an engagement. I was dealing with the fallout of someone I thought I knew completely unraveling. But in the quiet that followed, I started to feel something I hadn't felt in a long time: peace. One night I was sitting on the couch with Jonathan drinking a couple of beers. "You seem different, man," he said. "Like, lighter." "Yeah," I said, nodding. "I guess I just realized I don't have to keep carrying this around. Valerie made her choices, and I made mine. I'm finally free to move on." And I did. Slowly but surely, I started rebuilding my life. I learned to set boundaries, to stand up for myself, and to protect my peace at all costs. Looking back, I don't regret how it ended. If anything, it taught me what I truly deserve. And that's a life without drama or manipulation. Thank you for watching.